We are going to do a little end of season award because I think it's been a success this season. Getting fourth in the league, playing Champions League football, winning the Conference League, I think that was what most people wanted from this season, and it has been achieved. So we're going to pick a few things. Our first one is moment of the season. Jace.
Not that long ago, actually, for me, a turning point in the season. I'm going to be a bit greedy. It's going to be about a 6-minute spell in the game. It was Tyreek George's equaliser against Fulham and the Neto goal. Those two moments, I think, was the difference between us getting top 4, top 5 or not. Had we lost that game, I'm not convinced that we'd been able to get back into it. One, because of the points deficit. But I think that gave us something. I think that genuinely gave us belief that we can go in and do it. Tyreek George, well done here. Brilliant striker's instinct goal. You know, turn, swivel. The goal doesn't move. You know where the goal is. Hit the target, hit it low. Brilliant strike. And the Pedro Neto one. And that for me, was the turning point in our season that confirmed we are capable of getting top 4, top 5.
See, my moment of the season is at the beginning of the season, and I was torn. I was going to go over Cole Palmer free kick against Brighton, the game that he scored 4 goals. But I'm going for us putting 6 past Wolves.
Nice.
Because
that feels so long ago.
That was so long ago.
This season.
I was going to say.
But that's what changed my mindset, right? Because going into the season, I wasn't too sure. I wasn't confident finishing in the top 4. And then we score 6 against Wolves. Obviously, Noni puts out the Instagram post about Wolves and it being not a great area. And he scores a hat-trick against them. We're free-flowing in attack. Your mate, Jamie O'Hara, goes on TV and says, this Chelsea team could win the league. Yeah. Obviously, I didn't believe that. But it gave us some hope and optimism. Like, this is a young team, but we can score goals and beat good opposition. And I thought that game really changed my mindset in terms of where I think this team could have gone.
I really like the goal against Newcastle at Stamford Bridge. That's one of my favourite moments of the season, and it has been nominated for the Premier League goal of the season because it was just the pass from Palmer, the touch from Neto, and the finish was just perfection. I love that, and I also love the Man United game at Stamford Bridge because, again, rubbish game, but that goal from Marc Cucurella in that moment, we don't get top 4 again.
Another one of those moments.
Fulham started it, but Man United we needed. Being 0-0, like that was like the Fulham one was like 6 minutes of just pure elation. But I think Man United was big for us.
Both on the back of that, they both feed onto one another. Point I was making. Without the Fulham goal, the Man United goal probably doesn't come either. So,
okay, next one. We obviously know Moises Caicedo won Player of the Season, by far and away Chelsea's best player without a doubt. Unsung hero of the season. I'm
going Levo Colwill. I made the point earlier that he has developed this season into there's leadership qualities that I'm watching. Stepped up with a huge goal, of course, against Forest. But there's something about him now where he demands a first-team place. And, you look through if Reece isn't skipper and then, Enzo isn't and Caicedo's the next one, I think probably Levi's the one after that. So he's got that kind of quality about him. Developed as a young player, so much more to come. But he hasn't quite got the plaudits outside of Chelsea, I feel, that he deserves. But he's developed as a player, and for me, he's our unsung hero.
Gone for Marc Cucurella. And I don't know how unsung he is, right? Because we've all been singing his praises all season. But I just feel like the transformation and what Chelsea fans and football fans in general were saying about Marc Cucurella 18 months ago is completely different to how he's viewed right now. Scored so many important goals for Chelsea. Like you mentioned, the moment of the season, he was there for it. And I just think that when you look at left-backs in the Premier League and you look at who gets talked about, who gets put in the team this season, I think Marc Cucurella's unfortunate to not be in those conversations. Won the Euros for Spain, and for Chelsea this year, he's been absolutely incredible and one of our leaders on the pitch. So for me, it's Marc Cucurella.
Yeah, I love those two shouts. Right, the thing that's impressed you most about Enzo Maresca this season?
I felt that at the beginning of the season, he had a way of playing, and we lost our way halfway through that season. And he had to get that back on track. And there would have been a lot of people, probably ourselves included, critical had we not got top 5 because that extra space that was delivered. I think the back end of the season, how he has managed the team selection. I know we've been a bit critical of what happened last night, and we all want to see restart. But I think how he's managed to get through from a lot of criticism, and that you felt there's a post-match presser, it might be the pre-match presser going into this final, where he said about the journos, telling people, So clearly he reads, clearly he hears, and he would have felt that pressure. And he's actually come through fourth best manager in the league, and he's won a trophy. And I feel the last 7 or 8 games of this season, after the Fulham and onwards, he's shown that actually he can manage this squad and get the wins, the 1-0 wins, be tight at the back. That's probably the best thing about what Maresca's done this season, is the last 8, 9, 10 games.
Yeah, I would agree.
I would say probably the management of the squad, because people forget how much was made last summer about how big this Chelsea squad is. People can't fit in the dressing room. People
bloated.
Where are they all going to get changed?
Where are they going to get changed? They can't register people for this competition, for that competition. Nobody talks about that anymore, right?
Honestly, you haven't heard a peep from anyone.
They did say that, didn't they?
Yeah. Where are they going to get dressed?
It was nonsense. And it wasn't nonsense because it was real. We had so many players.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest discourse in the summer. We don't hear about that anymore, right? We don't hear about how bloated this Chelsea team is and how this player's going to be unhappy because they're not getting enough minutes. He's found a way to rotate this squad. Granted, he was helped out in January where he managed to offload some players. But in terms of managing people and keeping people happy with such a big squad, for that he deserves a lot of credit, because all the questions in the summer transfer window was, how's this person going to feel? How are you going to deal with this person? He just had to just bat it away. Yeah. And he batted it away and got Chelsea to the top 4 and win a trophy. And I think he deserves a lot of credit for it.
Even some people said, don't sign for Chelsea.
Yeah.
Not saying that now, are they?
Nope.
No, they're not. OK, and one thing that he could improve on going into next season?
I think when the moments are down that we found ourselves after Fulham home on Boxing Day, there seemed to be a bit of a tailspin. We didn't quite know, weren't keeping enough clean sheets. That's something he's done that I've been impressed with. I think when things aren't going so well, and I'm not just talking in-game measures, I'm talking game to game, find a way not to lose too many games, because how we finished 4th, I don't quite know. That period after Boxing Day going into the new year, January into Feb, we were dropping so many points.
I think it's because of the teams below us, though, that were just as inconsistent as us.
They failed there. Yeah. I think that there needs to be a period in games as well, and periods in the season where we need to make sure we stay in games. Yeah. Be a little bit more harder to beat. And also, you think about how we set up that ball retention. Yeah. Can we be a little bit more flamboyant?
For me, those teams that we fell in love with the managers, right? We love Thomas Tuchel. Yeah. We love Jose Mourinho. In Conte's season, we absolutely loved them because they got the fans on side. So I want to see him just, I don't know, get the fans on board a little bit more. He's a little bit standoffish, a little bit icy cold. And when we ask Chelsea fans what you think of Maresca, despite the fact he's had a very good first season, fans are torn. Yeah, like, think about Tuchel's second season. He finished 3rd and we didn't win a trophy. For most other Chelsea managers, that's a death sentence. Yeah. But we love Tommy T. We absolutely loved him. And even when we started the next season poorly, when we sacked him, we were absolutely devastated. And so Maresca, in terms of getting the fans on side, being a little bit more clear of your communication, we will fall in love with you. Because, let's be honest, as Chelsea fans, we can ask for more expressive football, but the best Chelsea teams we've ever seen didn't play great football. We just want results.
There was just something about them, though. I wasn't ever bored watching us.
It was the managers. It was the managers.
I wasn't bored watching us when we were playing pragmatic.
It was Mourinho on the touchline. It was Conte going absolutely... I remember Conte's first game, going absolutely mental against West Ham. And we were like, oh, who's this? What's this? Tommy Tuchel absolutely losing the... Like, the game against Spurs where Tommy Tuchel grabs Conte. Yeah. We need a bit of that.
Sort of stuff,
Chelsea fans need a bit of that to buy in. The football's the football. If you're winning games, it's fine. Give us a little bit more as a manager and we'll warm to you.
Can we also just accept that Maresca's had a good season?
Yeah, definitely.
Can we all, because I know he's coming for a lot of criticism, both internally from the Chelsea fans, externally from the rest of the media. Yeah. 4th and a trophy. Yeah. Honestly, don't underestimate how good he has done. Could things improve? Of course.
Absolutely.
No one's going to be happy with
Out of 10, what would you give him, Jace?
I'm going to give him an 8.
I'd give him a 7.
7.
But that's exactly what we've got from this season is exactly what I said at the start of the season. That should have been our aim. I know Maresca was coming out and saying, no, Champions League over the next 2 years. I believe this squad, with the amount of money spent, should have got Champions League this season based off of what we did last season. And he's done it, and he deserves huge credit for that because he has come under a lot of pressure. And he's delivered what he needed to deliver, and we're playing Champions League football next season with a trophy. So I think definitely. Just one final question quickly before we go. If you could only buy one player over the summer, only one position, make it realistic, who would it be and why?
Delap. Sorry, it's boring.
Yeah. No, it's not boring. No, it's not.
Bit dull.
So you'd stick with Sanchez in goal, or would you have Petrovic come back in and then...
We've got a goalkeeper in Petrovic. We mentioned about Penders. I don't know whether he's going to come in and be a realistic young man that can take the gloves, but there's enough there. But one signing, we need another striker. Yeah. That is imperative.
I'm with you again. It's a boring answer. We all think Petrovic will come in. We don't know what centre back we want to go next to Levi Colwill. So Delap is the answer. Give me a striker that scores goals.
Yeah, agreed.